How's it going, everyone? KingBlackToof here. So today I would like to talk to you about the Runestones. This is purely a discussion video regarding Runestones, and we've got several aspects that we want to talk about today. The first aspect is the obvious one regarding Spies and what we can do about this card to sort of stop that. I think everyone agrees that silver spying cards that give you card advantage should not be able to be created in any source, really. However, there is another aspect I want to talk about regarding Runestones and beginners, and I think that's a really interesting topic too. So let's start with the obvious. Runestones, there's 5 of them, 1 for each faction, and they create a silver card for that particular faction. But it has the chance to create the silver card advantage Spies. So these are Tala, Frightener, Cantarella, Udaric, and Yavin. And since it can create those, you can play multiple Spies, and they're 13 strength, and they're not particularly difficult to deal with now. 13 strength is doable, very much so. If you place 2 down, you've set up a really good Igni. You know, that's 26 strength there. If you place 3 down, you set up a really good Igni or a Scorch. And so it's easy to remove the strength when you've got, you know, multiple down and you've gained the card advantage. And not only that, if you play it in round 2 and you're just throwing them out, you're delaying the opponent, you know, bleeding him while gaining card advantage. It feels really bad. So obviously these cards, and pretty much any card that has the possibility to create a silver card, probably shouldn't be able to. Summoning Circle is the other one. That as well. Now, there are several ways that you could do this. The first one is to, say, create a loyal Silver Northern Realms card. I'm not entirely sure that's the best thing to do, because you lose the possibility of, you know, Sabrina or some other disloyal Joachim de Witt, stuff like that. Other disloyal silvers that you could possibly get. You lose those if you say loyal. It's a shame. I mean, loyal is a quick fix, and if they need to do it, they should do it. But I was looking at the cards, and there's a tag called Agent, and as far as I'm aware, there's no reason for Agent to exist. And weirdly, it doesn't exist on everything. So here's the collection of some of the silver spying cards. So we've got Cantarella. She's an agent and doomed. I'm not sure what Agent does. It doesn't seem to tell you, and as far as I'm aware, there is no sort of reason for it. Now, Cantarella is an agent, but Udaric is not. Yavin is an agent. Frightener is not. Tala is an agent. Okay, so we've got a disparity of agents there. Now, if we keep going, we've got the Empress, which is an agent. Joachim de Witt is an agent. Sabrina is not. Iris is not. Fringilla is not. There's no synergy, or there's no sort of like connection or logical thinking to what is an agent and what is not. There's a lot of bronze spying cards for Nilfgaard, you know, the assassin, the emissary, the ambassador. These are all agents, but you know, what does that really do? So that they could easily use that agent tag on these cards, which could exclude them from create mechanics or duplicate mechanics like the summoning circle. Now, whether that's give these agents and take agent off everything else, that these 5 card advantage Spies have agent and then you can't create agent cards, or take agent off these and every other disloyal unit is an agent, and then you can only create agents. Either way, I think giving these agents and taking off everything else would work. There's no synergy with agents at the minute. There's no reason for it being there. It's just a tag, a remnant tag, I think, when we used to have agents and double agents. But it's kind of stuck around. So they could easily use that to distinguish card advantage Spies to all the other disloyal spying cards. Now, there has been one argument for, do these guys even need to exist? Some people suggest that these are a remnant of The Witcher 3, when card advantage Spies were a thing, and do they need to really exist? And I'd argue that yes, they do. When you're looking at card games, you're looking for everything you can to really diversify your game. So Hearthstone's got a lot of mechanics it can draw from. It's got hero powers, it's got your health of your particular hero, you've got the strength of the card, the attack and the health, you've got the mana cost, you've got mana generation over time, that sort of thing, card draw, deck size, that sort of thing. Now, Gwent has got less because it doesn't have a mana system and stuff like that. So really, we've got the strength of a card, the removal of a card. We've got probably card advantage is one interesting mechanic. It's a mechanic it's a resource you have to take advantage of when you're creating a card game. It gives interestingness to the type of play. So these are really important, I think. It can alleviate the coin flip, although it does also exacerbate it a bit as well if you lose the coin flip and also get played by against you. But I think they need to exist to give diversity to the particular resources that the game creators and the players can draw from. You know, strength, damage, card advantage, deck size, that type of thing. So that's my feeling on card advantage spies and runestones and things like summoning circles. It pushes everything onto round 1, which is not good. If you lose that or give it up too early, then you got the chance of being spied and runestoned and heimed and Eastern Grim outlawed. And it just doesn't feel great. So, you know, slap the loyal on it if you want a quick fix. But I really think adjusting the agent tag to exclude the card advantage spies is the best thing. And then you can take it further. It gives you a lot of flexibility regarding that. I mean, if you don't want decoy to now work on them, you can slap on non-agent onto the decoy thing or something like that. You know, it gives you a lot of options. I'm not saying it should be done, but the agent tag I think should be what is used to exclude them. So the other aspect of the runestones is the beginner side of it. And I think this is a great card for beginners and should be inserted into the beginner starting decks. Now, let's assume that the card advantage spies are taken out of the runestone for now. But basically the starting decks have 4 silvers, which are neutral, and then 2 faction specific ones. We've got Manticore Venom, Commander's Horn, Doo-Doo and Roach. The Manticore Venom is okay. I mean, allows you to do targeted removal, better against some decks than others. Commander's Horn is a great one to have. You know, it's a really consistently good card. It's going to swing quite a bit, you know, if one person gets it, the other person doesn't. But it's a very good card. We've got Doo-Doo, which again copies the highest strength. It's not a bad card for beginners. And Roach, which I think is probably the most 4-strength silver. But it is card thinning, and as for beginners, that is quite important, really, card thinning. But the runestones would be a great adaptation into that if you could switch one of those out, maybe Manticore Venom or Roach or something. Because basically what it does, if you got all 5 runestones in your starting decks, then you basically get access to all of the faction-specific silvers, excluding the card advantage spies. So it means a beginner can test out all of these other things as they're going. Now, obviously, they're going to be playing this create mechanic, and there's some, you know, contention on whether create is fun or not. But it's really a double-edged sword. It depends where people are coming from when they're looking to Gwent as a new card game to play. If they come from Hearthstone, if one of their first experiences is the create mechanic, they might not feel too great about it. They might start to say, this isn't really what I came to Gwent for. Especially if you play your ZORIA runestone, you get 3 pretty pathetic options, and then they play theirs and they get something really, really good, like another Sigadrifa or something like that. You know, Scoia'tael one is probably the better one. So if you come and you get experiences like that, it's probably a negative one and probably not what Gwent should be known for. So giving it to beginners is probably a dangerous thing to do. But I think I stand by the fact that I think giving beginners access to all of the faction-specific silver cards without them having to craft it is a great thing to do. I do. So, I mean, if you want to just have a little discussion about these 2 particular topics that we've talked about regarding runestones, then feel free to do so in the comments below, and I'll read them and reply back. But until next time, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.